The story begins with a notorious thief named Diabolic scaling a building with a rope. Police have been hunting him for years, but he has always eluded capture. Today, Diabolic has set his sights on stealing a priceless crown housed inside the building. Security personnel are present but distracted, engrossed in playing cards. Diabolic sneaks inside, where a security guard confronts him. Swiftly, he takes the guard down and unlocks the door leading to the crown. The moment the door opens, an alarm is triggered, summoning the entire security team. However, the exit door to the crown room won't open from the outside because Diabolic has locked it from within. He begins cutting the bars that protect the crown. Desperate to get inside, the security team resorts to using dynamite to blast the door. Meanwhile, Diabolic escapes with the crown, gliding through the air on a paraglider, eventually landing on a car driven by his girlfriend, Eva. The security team can only watch helplessly as he vanishes with the treasure. A few days later, a grand jewelry show is underway, featuring 5 glamorous models adorned with expensive pieces. The show is organized by the same jewelry company whose crown Diabolic had stolen. Buyers are eager to purchase the collection, and security is tight because of the recent theft. As the performance ends, the lights suddenly go out. A man posing as a police officer approaches the models, instructing them to follow him. He leads them to a room, closes the shutter from the outside, and drives off. In a twist, the officer removes his mask, revealing himself as Diabolic. Once again, he has stolen from the jewelry company. He instructs the women to remove their jewelry before abandoning them on the street. Diabolic then drives to a secluded cliff and presses a button that splits the rock in half, revealing a hidden passage. He parks his car inside, securing his loot. Meanwhile, the 5 women, who are actually secret agents, call an inspector from a nearby motel to report that their plan succeeded. The jewelry they wore was equipped with trackers, and now the inspector knows Diabolic's location. Using the tracker, he begins pursuing the thief. Diabolic and Eva are shown celebrating their haul. Eva wants to leave the country with their newfound fortune, but Diabolic insists on one more heist. The inspector arrives at the cliff but finds the passage blocked. Following the tracker, he uses explosives to blast the rock open, discovering a long tunnel. The noise alerts Diabolic, who sees the inspector on CCTV cameras. With no time to secure his stash, he and Eva flee, leaving behind many of the stolen treasures. As they run, Eva's foot gets caught, and though Diabolic tries to free her, he has no time. Police are closing in, forcing him to leave her behind. Heartbroken, Eva escapes by jumping into a body of water before the inspector can reach her. Once again, Diabolic and Eva outsmart the authorities, leaving the inspector frustrated. However, he now has access to Diabolic's remaining treasures in the hidden tunnel and is determined to catch the elusive thief at any cost. Inside the building, the inspector discovers a treasure trove of expensive paintings and takes them into police custody. Among the items, he finds a building blueprint, revealing a connection between the location and Diabolic. Convinced that the thief is linked to this building, he leads his team there. Despite thorough searches, they find nothing, until an officer accidentally triggers a secret door by pressing on a lever. The team descends into the basement and discovers Diabolic's mask-making machine, used to create lifelike masks and commit his heists. The inspector orders that no one touch anything, insisting that Diabolic will return before his next theft, giving them a chance to catch him. Meanwhile, the inspector's girlfriend, the city's princess, expresses her wish to marry him, but he refuses until Diabolic is apprehended. She agrees but invites him to a party at her home, where she plans to wear a priceless necklace. She wants the inspector by her side to prevent Diabolic from attempting a theft. He promises to stay with her. Outside the building, Diabolic waits near the basement entrance, plotting his next move. As the police shift duties, he seizes the opportunity and sneaks inside. Confronted by an officer in the basement, Diabolic deliberately steps into view. The officer recognizes him and opens fire, but bullets fail to hit their mark, stopped by a bulletproof glass barrier between them. Hearing the gunfire, the security team rushes to the basement. They find the officer unconscious and revive him, only to realize that Diabolic has already removed the mask-making machine and escaped. Furious at being outsmarted yet again, the inspector faces added pressure from his senior, who questions how he plans to capture Diabolic when the thief has once more gotten the better of him. At this moment, the inspector receives a call from Eva. She claims Diabolic betrayed her and offers to help the inspector capture him, but only if all her criminal charges are permanently cleared and she can settle in another country. Though hesitant, the inspector's senior endorses the plan. Eva gives the inspector 30 minutes to prepare. The inspector devises a strategy. When Eva calls, he will keep her engaged in conversation, distracting her while his team traces her location. As planned, Eva calls from a public telephone booth. The inspector skillfully talks to her, keeping her occupied, while his officers pinpoint her position. Police begin converging on her location, ready to apprehend her and use the intel to finally trap Diabolic. Meanwhile, the authorities inspect the loot seized from Diabolic's hideout and notice one bracelet missing, the very one containing a tracker. Realizing the tracker is still active, a police officer is sent to track its signal. This officer, Roller, was the same one incapacitated by Diabolic in the basement when the thief stole his mask-making machine. Following the tracker, Roller locates Eva and instructs her to stand still while he approaches. Cleverly, Eva overpowers him, takes his gun, knocks him out, and escapes in his vehicle. Roller later informs the team that he recovered the bracelet, unaware that it still contains the tracker, which can now be used to locate Eva and, ultimately, Diabolic. Meanwhile, the inspector is summoned by his senior, who reminds him that the plane operation they had planned must now be executed with Eva's help to finally catch Diabolic. Though reluctant, the inspector meets Eva, who proposes a plan. Diabolic will attempt to reclaim the gold currently in police custody. To lure him, they must spread the rumor that the gold is being transferred under heavy security. The police plan to move the gold by armored vehicle to a secure tunnel. When Diabolic attacks the vehicle to recover the gold, the team will capture him, while the real gold is quietly transported in another truck. The inspector approves the plan and begins preparations for the operation on the same day as his girlfriend's party, where she is scheduled to wear a priceless necklace. He sends a trusted officer to ensure her security and directs his team to stage the gold transfer with maximum attention. Roller volunteers to personally drive the decoy truck carrying the gold, seeking redemption for past failures. The team moves the armored vehicle through a tunnel, only to have the entrance suddenly sealed. Diabolic appears and the officers open fire, only to realize they are shooting at a dummy. The thief has cleverly deceived them again. Meanwhile, the inspector's girlfriend opens the party safe, expecting her necklace, only to discover it's missing, along with her makeup artist. As the decoy vehicle travels through a forest path, another car approaches. The girl stepping out is revealed as the inspector's makeup artist, but when she removes her mask, she is actually Eva. Roller, in response, removes his mask, revealing that he is not Roller at all, but Diabolic himself. Using his foresight, Diabolic had anticipated police moves, orchestrating the plan to regain all his stolen goods. Leaving Eva behind temporarily created the illusion of betrayal, ensuring the inspector would trust her. The blueprint for the basement was intentionally left for the police, guiding them to his mask-making machine. When Diabolic returned to retrieve it, he confronted Roller, incapacitated him, and assumed his identity, allowing him to manipulate the authorities flawlessly. By taking the bracelet from Eva, he prevented the police from tracking them further. Through this elaborate scheme, Diabolic recovers all his stolen treasures, including the inspector's girlfriend's priceless necklace. He and Eva then leave the country permanently, amassing enough wealth to live comfortably for life. Yet, as cunning as ever, Diabolic is not motivated solely by money. He thrives on the thrill of the heist itself. The story concludes with the possibility that he may strike again, hinting at future confrontations with the relentless inspector.